mix and match both of the palettes. Guys, my camera just fell. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys 3 different looks using the brand new Jaclyn Hill Volume 2 palette. So this recently launched like maybe a week or 2 ago, and I just got it in the mail I think this weekend, but I haven't been home, so I haven't been able to like film with it. But I finally have a chance to do it, and plus ColourPop didn't launch anything crazy this week either. And I'm super excited about this palette because it is absolutely stunning, and everybody, well, a lot of people really loved the original, the Jaclyn Hill palette, which looked like this from Morphe. This one's more of your neutral, like everyday colors, and then you have some pop of colors, but if you hide these, like, this is literally what the eyeshadow palette looks like. So it's a very neutral, wearable eyeshadow palette with a few pops of colors in there. But she came out with a volume 2, which is a little bit more bright, but it's definitely totally up her lane, which are going to be more warm tones. So this is what the volume 2 looks like. So it's a lot more vibrant, a lot more intense. Definitely not going to be your everyday eyeshadow palette, but I feel like you can still create some really wearable looks with this eyeshadow palette, as well as incorporate some colors. And if you already have the original, you can totally mix and match both of the palettes and you know, create some really fun and beautiful looks. I also wanted to point out a few things about the eyeshadow palette too. So the first being that this one has this like shiny packaging here, so if you get like eyeshadow all over it, you can just wipe it off, while this one not so much. I mean, you can still wipe it off, but it takes a lot more. You can see how dingy my palette looks, the original one. On the inside too, all of the names are on here already, so I didn't have to be ghetto like my last palette and write them down. As you guys can see, I had to write it down on this one. So I do enjoy the fact that they did actually put the names in here. I feel like that is so awesome, and I wish Morphe would do that with every single one of their eyeshadow palettes, because I'm tired of carrying around sheets of paper that say what the names are. So I will tell you guys straight up, I really like the eyeshadow palette. I was very impressed with the quality of it. I know a lot of people have like kind of been on the fence with anything that Jaclyn Hill comes out with ever since the Volt fiasco. If you guys don't know what the Volt is, it is basically these 4 different eyeshadow palettes that she created with Morphe after the original Jaclyn Hill palette. Like the quality of them just wasn't the same as the quality of the original palette, even though she said it was the same formulation. But I honestly think it was just the colors that she chose didn't work well with the formulation that she wanted to use, because that one had a lot more cool tones and stuff like that in them. I mean, of course there are some warm tones, and all the warm tones in there worked just fine, but when it came to the cool tones, the palettes were kind of inconsistent. And I do have, again, a video on that, comparing it to the Anastasia Subculture palette. You guys know the fiasco with that, which I have a video on that too. But yeah, so, and then after that she came out with her lipsticks, and a lot of people, you know, had issues with the lipsticks. Then she came out with the highlighters in her brand. These are what the palettes look like, and it's actually the highlighter that's on my face right there. This is the Flash palette, and honestly these highlighters are absolutely stunning. I've seen such great things about that whole entire highlighter collection, and I think she is making it permanent, because I think it was supposed to be limited edition, but a lot of people really loved it. And whenever I get a chance, I do want to like purchase a few more of like the powders and stuff like that, so I can put them in my freelance kit, because these highlighters honestly are really, really great. And I feel like people started gaining her trust again after that. They were still kind of on the fence, and especially when she launched another eyeshadow palette with Morphe. I think she started working on this like a year or 2 ago. You know, obviously like she's been through a lot, so she couldn't probably launch it when she was planning on it. I don't really know what was the plan, but I'm just really happy that things are finally starting to work out for her, because she really needs it. You know, social media in general can be such a place of like such hatred and such like people that are just so mean, you know, and like they forget sometimes that we are all humans, and just like they have feelings, so do like influencers and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm super excited because I really did end up really loving this eyeshadow palette. Super pigmented, A little bit goes such a long way, and I feel like they blend it out so nicely. Even the purple's in here, because purple is a really, really hard color to like blend out really nicely. So this is one of the looks that I created. If you guys want to see the other two looks as well as a tutorial for how to create this look, then just continue watching. So we're going to start off with the Jaclyn Hill Volume 2 palette, and I'm going to go ahead and take the shade called Love Handles, and I'm going to go ahead and apply that into the crease, and I'm going to kind of stamp it in place with a small little crease brush. This is a Jaclyn Hill times Morphe detailing brush, and I'm also going to, after I stamp it in place, buff it back and forth, so that way we still have like precision, but it's going to be nice and soft. And then to blend that out, I'm going to take the shade called Perfectionist on a bigger blending brush, also Jaclyn Hill times Morphe brush, and I'm just going to go ahead and buff out all of the edges, make sure there's no harsh lines at all. We want this to be defined, but we also want this to be nice and diffused too. So you really want to really take your time with this, and I kind of go around my outer V2, and then I'm taking the shade called G Money, and I'm going to take that on a smaller crease brush. This is like the Morphe M433, but the Jaclyn Hill version one. And I'm just going to go ahead and apply that onto my outer V, and I kind of stamp it in place first, and then I buff it in, just because that way I have precision, and then I can also have it to look nice and soft. So we're going to just keep on blending that out, kind of creating that outer V, really elongating the eye. And then I'm going to take the shade called Ride or Diamonds, which is a stunning shade, probably one of the prettiest shades in the whole entire palette. And I'm going to go ahead and take that on a tiny little flat shader brush. And then I'm going to take some of the shade called GRWM and mix it in with the Ride or Diamond, and I'm just going to go ahead and apply that right on top just to add a little more dimension. And then I'm taking the shade called Temptress. I'm taking that on an Alamad Cosmetics eyeliner brush, and I'm just going to go ahead and buff that into my outer lash line. And I am not applying this all over my lash line. I just want it on the outer corner of the lash line and kind of creating a little wing. You guys can see what it looks like here. I feel like that's just going to open up the eyes but still give you that nice sultry look. And then I'm going to take the Perfectionist shade and a little bit of G Money, and I'm taking that on a Morphe M507, and I'm going to go ahead and buff that right on top, so that way that line is nice and soft and not defined, or not super harsh, I mean. And then I went ahead and put on all of my face makeup, and as you guys can see, my stunning highlighter here is the Jaclyn Cosmetics Flash Palette. Then I'm going back in with Perfectionist and Love Handles, applying that on my lower lash line, and I really want to buff that out. Then I'm taking a little bit of Certified, which is the matte shade in the eyeshadow palette, and I'm just going to go ahead and apply that in my inner corner. I wanted to keep it nice and matte because I feel like it would look a lot softer. Taking some of the Thrive Cosmetics Lash Extension Mascara, which, wow, I was not expecting it to look this good, but I really love how it looks. Taking some of the Morphe Bite Me lip liner, and I'm going to go ahead and apply that onto my lips. And then I'm taking some of the Gerard Cosmetics Skinny Dip Ultra Matte Lipstick and a little bit of the iconic London lip gloss just right on top. And this is what the first finished look looks like. Very soft, very sultry, but I still feel like it looks like you put some effort into your look. So then we're going to jump right into the second look, and I'm going to go ahead and start off with the shade called Not My Journey with that blending brush that we had earlier. I forget which one this is, but I know it's in the Jaclyn Hill eye set, the original one. So I'm just going to go ahead and stamp that onto my eyes, and it is a little bit splotchy, but it does blend out really nicely. You just kind of have to trust the process. So I kind of stamp it in place again, and then I buff it out. And then I'm going to go ahead and take some of the Therapy Sash shade, and I'm taking that on a Morphe M514 brush, which is a small little tiny baby like blending brush. And I'm just going to go ahead and go right on top of that, and you guys can see how much better that is looking now that it's blended out. So you really want to trust the process again and use very small brushes if you can, and very small strokes. Then I'm taking some of the Not My Journey and a little bit of the Temptress shade, like the tiniest bit of that Temptress shade, making sure that I buffed out or tapped off all of the excess of that. And the reason why I did this was because I wanted a deeper purple. So this is just going to deepen up that purple shade on the outer corner. And I'm just going back and forth between a few blending brushes with that Morphe M413 brush, with the M514 brush, and then I'm taking this brush also from Luxie and just kind of buffing that out. And then I'm gonna built up the intensity with the Morphe M507, and I'm really focusing that on my outer corner of my eye. As you guys can see, I'm using very, very small strokes because I just want the outer corner to be like really deep, and then everything else to just kind of like buff out and blend in. And then I took some of my loose powder and the Morphe E47 brush, and I just kind of cleaned up my outer corner there to make a nice crisp line. And then I took some of the Good Place and I took that on a flat synthetic brush, and then I'm taking a little bit of a moment and just applying that right on the center. This is going to add more dimension to the eye. You could wet the shadows if you want, but I chose not to. Took some of the Temperature shade and applied that on my upper lash line, and this time I went all the way across, but I didn't really wing it out. And then I'm just kind of taking off the excess powder with a eyeshadow brush, because this is going to make sure that we don't have a super harsh line and everything blends out nicely. Taking some of the I'm In It shade with a pencil brush from Morphe. I forget which one this one is, but this is that really pretty like iridescent purple shadow. And then I'm taking some of the Not My Journey and applying that on my lower lash line, and just really buffing it out. And then I'm going to take the M507 and just with a clean brush, just kind of buffing everything together. Then I'm taking the ColourPop Baddie lashes, and I also put on my lips Share from Gerard Cosmetics, both the lip liner and the liquid lipstick. And this is the second finished look. I'm not going to even lie, I was totally feeling myself when I was doing these candid moments here. So yeah, this is the second look. And then I'm taking my clean eyes. You guys can see it kind of stained, so I'm using the Gerard Cosmetics concealer eyeshadow base, taking the smallest bit of that on this Bogeshi concealer brush, and what I do is I just kind of pack it on. A little bit of this goes such a long way, and it is pigmented enough to cover up any staining that might be on the eyes, as you guys can see here. And this is the same stuff that I've been using every single step. So then I'm taking a little bit of Love Handles and Feeling Myself, and I'm taking that on a Morphe M433 brush, and I'm going to go ahead and buff that in my inner and outer corner, and kind of trying to make sure that I don't get in the center of my like crease area, because I'm going to take that Love Handle shade and just buff everything together. And as you guessed it, we are creating a halo eye, of course. Then I'm taking some of the shade called Living My Best on a Morphe M507 brush, and I'm going to go ahead and apply that onto my inner and outer corner. As you guys can see, I kind of like stamp it in place first, and then I buff it out. To deepen that up, I'm taking a little bit of the next shade with the same exact brush and just doing really small stamping motions and kind of buffing it outwards towards the outer corner and inwards towards the inner corner of my eye. Taking the M433 and just blending everything together. You could be really messy with this. Then I'm taking another Morphe brush. I don't know which one this one is, but I took some of the No Joke, applied that right on the top of all those shadows in the crease, and this is just going to create more of a gradient on the eye look. So I'm just buffing that, buffing that side to side. Then I'm taking some of the Talia shade on a small concealer brush, and I went right down the center of my eye and buffed it side to side. And then I took some of the Empowered shade, and right where the gold and the red meet, I just took the M507 brush and just kind of melted those colors together. Took some of the setting powder and that E47 brush, so you guys can see exactly how I do this step to just kind of clean up the outer corner and make it look more cat eye. And then I took some of that next shade with this tiny little pencil Morphe brush, and this is gonna create that halo eye on the lower lash line. And then I took a little bit of I'm In It and applied that with a small little brush on the inner corner. Took the Ardell 600 lashes, which are my favorite for halo eyes, and then I'm gonna go ahead and use the lipstick called Foolish from ColourPop, and I did line it with some of the Bite Me from Morphe. I just forgot to show it, and took the iconic London gloss, put that right on the center of my lips. And this is the third and final look. I hope you guys enjoyed all three of these looks, and I'll see you next time.